Chapter 1. On the day I was invited to the centennial celebration, I ran into my first love, Dominic. After delivering a speech as an alumni representative, he suddenly held up a diamond ring in front of everyone. You once said you wanted a wedding ring made from thorny roses. Now it's my turn to propose. Alice, will you marry me? The entire auditorium erupted. Everyone was waiting for me to tearfully nod and accept. After all, I had once chased him with such burning passion that it shocked the whole school. But they'd all forgotten. Back then, my graduation project was accused of plagiarizing Fiona's work. Dominic knew the truth, but still accused me of being the one who copied. At the press conference, he stood there as a brand representative, announcing the end of our collaboration and calling for an industry-wide ban on me. The day I became a public disgrace, I left the city behind. Now that I was back, his friends tried to persuade me. Dominic has been waiting for you all these years. Even after you embarrassed him so badly, you're still the one in his heart. He even barged into the dean's office just to help you get your diploma. Alice, Dominic truly loves you. Stop staring at your phone. Can't you at least give him a response? Seeing how indifferent I was to their words, his friend Leo looked displeased. I calmly put down my phone and looked at him without emotion. Dominic may come from an elite family, but he despises being praised for his background. Even though his father is a school trustee, he never used that connection for personal gain. But for your diploma, he stormed into the dean's office and nearly got a major demerit. Alice, do you even have a heart? Are you really that unmoved? Leo was filled with righteous indignation, listing off Dominic's past sacrifices like my lack of tears was some kind of crime. I frowned slightly and glanced around. The alumni watching the drama quickly looked away, pretending not to notice, yet clearly eavesdropping on every word. When the plagiarism scandal broke, it was huge. Even after 7 years, I could still see the contempt and mockery on the faces of these onlookers. Today was no different. I had only come backstage to help prepare for the celebration when Leo blocked me and unloaded this emotional speech. I didn't know if he was acting out of loyalty to his friend or if someone had asked him to do this after hearing I'd be attending. But to me, none of that mattered anymore. I sighed. What should I be feeling? It's all in the past. Maybe my answer wasn't what Leo expected. He furrowed his brow, staring at me with confusion. Chapter 2. I understood why he had that look on his face. After all, back in freshman year, I had chased Dominic with such fervor for 3 months that it made me the talk of the campus. When I learned he liked stargazing at the observatory, I went to great lengths to find meteorite fragments and handmade a star-shaped necklace for him. To spend more time with him, I risked being punished for breaking curfew by staying out late and loitering near the law library for 3 months straight, just to coincidentally run into him and keep him company while he studied. One stormy night, I heard he had a fever. I climbed over the dorm wall to buy him medicine, and ended up with a fractured right hand. When he asked what happened, I smiled and said I was testing the limits of human endurance. Of course Dominic knew the truth behind the fracture. He just quietly let me lie. It was that same day, when I had the cast on, that he agreed to be my boyfriend. After we got together, he gave me a moon-shaped bracelet in return and said we were written in the stars, so I'd stop showing up under the excuse of just passing by. He quit studying late at night altogether, and to make sure I could still eat my favorite sweet and sour ribs while my hand was injured, the rich young master, who had never set foot in the dining hall, forced himself to stand in the greasy cafeteria line, enduring the smell just for me. All these little things took root in my heart like seeds, eventually growing into a towering tree. I really thought that tree, our love, would blossom and bear fruit. But then came Fiona, and the tree began to wither. At first, Dominic clearly told me that Fiona was just someone his father forced on him, a political engagement. He said I was the only one in his heart. As the only heir to his family, he had the power to reject anything he didn't want. He told me not to worry, and I believed him. That's why I never saw Fiona as a threat. Chapter 3. But later, I started noticing the signs. He'd show up late for our dates, forget our anniversaries. After he began partially managing the company, he and Fiona started appearing together at gala events more and more, not caring how suggestive the media coverage became. When I confronted him, he dialed it back a bit. But then I saw a tabloid photo of him adjusting Fiona's pearl earring backstage at a jewelry expo. On Valentine's Day, he promised to make it up to me, but bailed last minute because of an urgent meeting. I waited at the revolving restaurant until closing, only to see Fiona post a photo in business class. She and Dominic sat side by side, smiling into the camera. As the comments below filled with congratulations, I suddenly lost all courage to even ask why. The next day, Dominic showed up at the design department with my favorite strawberry milkshake. When he saw my swollen eyes, he didn't ask a single question. Instead, he threw the milkshake down in irritation. "Alice, how many times do I have to tell you? You're the one I care about. Fiona and I just have professional chemistry. Do you have to keep crying like this? You have no idea how exhausting this version of you is." The tears wouldn't stop. I looked down and asked softly, "I never even said why I was crying. So you're admitting you've been too close to Fiona?" Dominic froze, frowning at me. "You're being completely unreasonable. That day we had a terrible fight. All the people who'd never believed in us jumped at the chance to tear me apart. Gold digger, social climber, manipulative bitch. They threw every awful label at me, like I was worth less than nothing. I didn't reach out to Dominic for a whole week. Eventually, Leo played mediator and tricked us into meeting again. When I saw Dominic, my first instinct was to walk away. But maybe he had already calmed down by then. With a big smile on his face, he stepped in front of me, whether I liked it or not. He pulled me into his arms in front of all his friends. "Don't be mad. I know I messed up." I tried to dodge him, but the next moment, he slipped a cool necklace around my neck. "A late Valentine's gift. I made it myself. It's a match to the star necklace you gave me." Listening to his gentle voice and seeing the exquisite gift, my heart softened. Once I'd cooled off, I was willing to talk. I pulled up the tabloid photo and Fiona's social media post. "You said you two were just work partners. Since when do work partners get physically touchy like that?" Dominic hugged me from behind and took my phone. "It's a huge misunderstanding." She said her pearl earrings looked uneven and asked me to check them so she wouldn't get embarrassed in front of the press. I didn't even touch her. "Baby, you know I'm nearsighted." I just leaned in for a closer look. I was already smiling, but I kept pressing. "And what about that social media post? You lied about a meeting and went out to eat with her. Explain that." Dominic turned me around, cupped my face, and kissed me like he was swearing an oath. "Baby, I swear on everything, it was the client who rescheduled the meeting. Fiona hadn't eaten all day, said her stomach hurt, and dragged me out to eat with her." I slapped his hand away, but couldn't hold back a laugh. Just as I was about to lecture him, Fiona walked in, eyes red. She walked straight up to me. "Leo told me you two fought because of me. I came as soon as I could." "Alice, even though Dominic and I are engaged, we're just friends. If it really bothers you, I can ask my dad to call off the engagement with his uncle. I'll even leave the country so I'm no longer in the way." Maybe it was raining outside, her clothes were soaked. She shed a couple of tears and turned to leave. I saw it clearly, the flicker of guilt in Dominic's eyes. He let go of me and chased after her. Right in front of me, he gently wiped the water off her face. His friends, seeing I was still standing there, began murmuring behind their hands. Their tone was full of blame, as if I were the villain. Fiona looked at me with wide, pitiful eyes. At that moment, I really felt like I was the one who didn't belong. That night, I barely touched my food and left early, claiming I wasn't feeling well. I thought Dominic would stay and take care of fragile little Fiona, but instead, he ran out into the rain after me. He pulled me into the nearest bubble tea shop, ordered a hot drink for me, then ran back out and came back with a towel. "Alice, please don't be mad at me. Fiona's father is extremely strict. If she really goes home and asks to break off the engagement, she'll be punished by her family. I only see her as a little sister. That's the only reason I pay extra attention to her. Please don't overthink things. You're the only one I care about." Seeing me shiver, he sat beside me and pulled me into a tight embrace, rubbing my hands to warm them. Despite my inner resistance, his tenderness got to me. I decided to let go and give him my trust. But in the end, he didn't deserve it. Chapter 4. After that day, Fiona started clinging to Dominic openly and shamelessly. They discussed company strategy, talked about jewelry expos, so in sync they looked like a power couple straight out of a magazine. Even the alumni thought they were dating. Even I started to believe it. Fiona certainly acted like she was already on top. She came to me, chin high and smug, and said, "Alice, if Dominic can treat me like a sister now, he can treat me like a lover in the future. Just wait and see." I was speechless. I could only watch as she walked away with that victorious smirk. It was a weekend. Dominic had told me earlier that he was planning to unwind by playing basketball with his friends. I called him last minute and asked him to come see me. He was clearly annoyed. Didn't we agree I could go play? Now I have to bail on the guys. Do you know how embarrassing that is? I was already full of frustration and snapped at him, telling him everything Fiona had said. After I finished, his attitude got even worse. "You dragged me all the way here for something this petty? How many times do I have to promise you that Fiona and I are just friends? Alice, do you have any idea how exhausting it is being in a relationship with you like this? What's next? You want me to ask your permission to breathe? Don't you trust me?" His words hit me hard. Tears welled in my eyes as I bit my lip and asked quietly, "Dominic, I never said I didn't trust you. Are you admitting there's something between you and Fiona?" He met my gaze for a long moment, then finally let out a sigh. "Fine, I get it. Girls always need a sense of security. If you hate Fiona that much, I'll find a chance to talk to her and clear things up. But Alice, please, stop dragging me through this over and over again. The pressure from my dad is already killing me. I barely get any time to breathe. Can you just give me a break?" Graduation was approaching. His father was forcing him to give up his beloved law career and take over the family jewelry business. They'd been in a cold war over it. His father never liked me, so I didn't feel like I had the right to advise him. All I could do was give him space. "I'm really busy with graduation stuff. Let's not talk for now." With that, he turned and walked away. Watching his back disappear, I felt a chill seep into my heart. For the first time, I wondered if he was really worth it. Chapter 5. After that, Dominic didn't contact me for a long time, but I kept seeing him and Fiona studying late at the library together. Even when he gave up law and decided to study jewelry design abroad, I only heard about it from Leo. Then, just as my graduation project got selected by Tolling Jewelry for mass production, I was suddenly surrounded by a swarm of reporters. Cameras were shoved right in my face. "Alice, we received a tip-off saying your graduation project is plagiarized from Fiona's. Is that true?" I was stunned, stepping back as I tried to explain. "No, I didn't. That's slander." Fiona appeared just then, eyes red as she tearfully accused me. "Alice, you copied my work for your final assignments before, and I didn't make a fuss. But this time, the Thorned Rose series was something I created especially for Dominic's birthday. He even helped me revise it. How can you still deny you stole it?" All the cameras turned to Dominic, waiting for his response. I looked at him too, but Dominic avoided my gaze and spoke to the cameras. Thorned Rose was indeed Fiona's concept. I saw her sketch it with my own eyes during our late-night study sessions. I froze completely under the blinding flashes. I walked up to him, looked him in the eyes, and asked, "So you're saying I plagiarized?" My voice cracked as tears filled my eyes. There was a flicker of guilt and hesitation in Dominic's eyes, but in the end, he still insisted that the design was originally Fiona's, and Fiona immediately added fuel to the fire. "Alice, I know you're Dominic's girlfriend, but that doesn't mean you can force him to lie for you." I couldn't speak. My throat was blocked with grief as I watched the two of them, completely in sync, acting out their scene. Dominic seemed to hesitate and reached toward me, but Fiona cut him off with another perfectly timed line. She hired thugs to threaten me, told me to admit that I was the one who plagiarized. If Dominic hadn't stood up for me today, I'd be ruined forever. As she wiped her tears, the sleeve of her chiffon blouse slipped down, revealing several ugly cuts on her arm. Dominic's pupils constricted. He grabbed her arm in shock. "These cuts, what happened? Who did this to you?" Then he turned to me, his eyes ice cold, stabbing straight into me, swallowing my heartbreak. I raised my chin and said quietly, "I didn't do it. If you want to play hero, go ahead, but don't drag me into your drama kink." "Alice, you're still denying it?" Now his gaze was full of disgust. "Fiona is soft and gentle. You, on the other hand, are sharp-tongued and always bad-mouthing her behind her back. She's been patient with you, and all you've done is double down on your cruelty." I was stunned. I felt the blood in my veins run backward. Dominic, is that how you see me? You'd rather believe her lies than trust me? I gave you the benefit of the doubt. And what did I get? Nothing but more bullying from you. As soon as he said that, the reporters swarmed in, their aggressive questions stabbing straight into my heart. I stood there in shock, nearly shoved to the ground several times. He just watched coldly. All around me were sneers, mockery, and contempt. Then Dominic climbed up on stage, picked up the microphone, and declared, as the brand representative, I officially announce that our collaboration with Alice is terminated. I believe every designer should uphold professional ethics. Plagiarism is shameful. The spotlight shone down on him like he was some divine savior. Fiona looked up at him with adoration. And me? I could barely hear anything beyond his words. Industry-wide blacklist. Someone threw a glass of water at me. Then more things were hurled. I stumbled back and finally fell at their feet. Looking up, I saw Dominic shielding Fiona as he walked her backstage. I let out a hollow laugh and stopped struggling. After it was over, I got a call from the dean. He informed me that my diploma had been revoked. Graduation postponed. That day, branded with infamy, I bought a one-way ticket overseas and disappeared from the world. Chapter 6. I came back to my senses. Leo was staring at me. Alice, what do you say? Why not have a proper talk with Dominic? You two are such a perfect match. It's basically a crime against destiny that you're not together. I chuckled and looked at him. No need. I should get going. Don't. Just wait a bit longer. Dominic's already at the parking lot. He blocked my way, clearly anxious. I was starting to get impatient. There's nothing left for us to talk about. Besides, I'm already married. Married? You've got to be kidding me. Everyone knows you were head over heels for Dominic. You'd die for him. How could you possibly marry someone else? Leo looked shocked for only a moment before quickly regaining his composure. He gave me that classic I know you're lying face. Just as I was about to speak, I heard whispers rising from the alumni around us. You probably don't know, but I was in the same year as Alice. I saw her chasing Dominic like some pathetic simp. The way she threw herself at him back then? Honestly iconic. Even today. Totally. I was in the same class as Dominic. She used to bring him lunchboxes from across campus to the law department every day. He never ate them, not once, and she just kept doing it like it was romantic. She's bragging about being married now? Please. I bet she still hasn't gotten over the whole plagiarism scandal and how Dominic didn't stand up for her. This is just her pretending to have moved on. Dominic's a total catch now. Handsome. Rich. Single. No way she's staying calm seeing him again. Pfft, a girl like her. Always trying to gold dig and level up. Can't land Dominic. So now she's aiming higher? Ethan. Maybe? Speaking of Ethan, I heard something from my cousin's aunt's nephew. Who knows his chauffeur? Apparently, Ethan secretly got married abroad. His wife? Took everything he had to win her over. They had a baby 2 months after the wedding. Now they're the happiest family ever. As I listened, I couldn't help but smile. The perfect man they were all gossiping about. He's my husband, truly. Meeting him was the luckiest thing that ever happened to me. Leo noticed my expression and frowned deeply. Alice, don't tell me you really fell for someone else. I laughed. Why not? Doesn't it look like I did? His frown deepened, eyes locked onto mine. After a long silence, he sighed. All right. Fine. If you insist you're married, then at least talk to Dominic face to face. Saying that, he whipped out his phone and started texting furiously. From the corner of my eye, I caught Dominic's avatar on the screen, but looked away as if it didn't matter. Not because I still had feelings for him, but because our old couple profile picture was still there. I had designed it myself. I recognized it instantly. 7 years ago. He hurt me beyond repair. And now he pulls this? What a joke. Chapter 7. My phone vibrated. I unlocked it to see a selfie from my daughter. She'd gone to the amusement park today with Ethan. Her face was painted like a peacock princess. Her hair tied into 2 playful pigtails, absolutely adorable. Mommy, Olivia ate a big red apple today. Was Olivia a good girl? I couldn't help but smile. My heart melting instantly. Olivia is the best little girl kisses. Lost in our sweet conversation, I didn't notice the sudden commotion around me. When I finally looked up, Dominic was already standing in front of me. Alice, long time no see. His eyes were full of that familiar longing. I frowned, clearly unamused. Long time no see. He immediately looked hurt as he stepped closer. Alice, it's been 7 years. Are you still mad at me? Please, don't talk to me like a stranger. I can't take it. I stepped back coldly, raising my arm to keep him from getting too close. You're overthinking it, Dominic. There's nothing between us anymore. I'm not angry. I don't care enough to be. The whispering around us grew louder, and I could feel the stares locked onto me. I hated that feeling. I sidestepped him, ready to leave. Seems like your adoring juniors are fascinated by you. I'll take my leave, worried he might follow. I picked up my pace on purpose, but the moment I exited the backstage hallway, he caught up with me again. Alice, please, I won't say anything else. Just don't leave. Seeing me step back again, he lowered the hand he had reached out with, visibly wounded. Today's the anniversary event. Can't you stay until it's over? I swear I won't bring anything up. I was about to respond when the loudspeaker crackled to life, announcing the start of the ceremony and asking everyone to enter the hall in an orderly fashion. I ignored him and followed the crowd inside. Dominic followed me to my seat but was quickly pulled aside by a faculty member. Dominic, I've been looking all over for you. You're up next as the alumni speaker. He followed the staff member, but kept looking back at me as he walked away. Only when those intense eyes finally left me did I think the chaos was over for the day. But before I could breathe a sigh of relief, Dominic appeared on stage and pulled out a diamond ring in front of everyone. You once said you'd make me a wedding ring out of thorned roses. Now it's my turn to propose. Alice, will you marry me? Chapter 8. In an instant, the entire auditorium fell silent. Over 1,000 eyes locked onto me. I gently twisted the wedding ring on my left hand, calmly watching as Dominic walked down from the stage, step by step, toward me. When he reached me, he dropped to one knee and held out the ring. Marry me. I gave a cold laugh, smacked his hand away, and raised my hand to show the diamond on my ring finger. Show some respect. I'm a married woman. His pupils contracted in shock, but the next second, they lit up again. He spoke excitedly. Alice, you're still jealous of Fiona, aren't you? That's why you're making up this excuse to push me away, right? Yes. You plagiarized her idea back then and hurt her, but I already made it up to her using my own resources. And now she and I cut him off with a sharp wave. Enough. I stood up, towering over him. Dominic, after all these years, you're still the same arrogant, narcissistic jerk. You're just as unbearable as ever. Talking to someone like him was pointless. I stepped around him, planning to walk straight out, but Dominic thought I was only acting this way because I hadn't moved on from the past. That as long as he sincerely apologized, I'd eventually forgive him. So wherever I walked, he followed. When I stopped, he took out the ring again, looking up at me with all the seriousness in the world. I was beyond fed up. I'll explain this one time and one time only. First, I didn't plagiarize anything. Thorned rose was my original design. Second, I'm married. I have a husband and a daughter. And third, and most importantly, I'm not mad at you. I'm not holding any grudges. I just don't want anything to do with you. My husband gets jealous. Hearing how serious I was, Dominic stumbled slightly, disbelief on his face. You told me you'd only ever marry me. You're lying, aren't you? I looked at him, biting back my frustration. His eyes turned red. Alice, I waited for you all these years. Why would you betray our promise like this? How can you be so cruel? Those words pushed me over the edge. You're blaming me? Betrayal? Then tell me, swear on your name and everything you have, that you never had any feelings for Fiona back then. Dominic's eyes flickered. He couldn't look me in the eye anymore. Chapter 9. I let out a cold laugh and turned to leave. Dominic stood there, frozen in thought. When he saw me walking away, he panicked and rushed after me. Alice, there's really nothing going on between me and Fiona. Please, you have to believe me. He kept clinging to me, refusing to let me go. By now, many people from the anniversary event had come out to watch the scene unfold. Maybe Dominic felt humiliated because all of a sudden, he pulled me into his arms. Alice, Can we stop fighting, please? I recoiled instantly, my whole body covered in goosebumps. Out of sheer panic and resistance, I raised my hand and slapped him across the face. Dominic, this is sexual harassment. I don't care whether you and Fiona have something going on or not, but if you dare lay a hand on me again, I will sue you. Dominic held his cheek, staring at me, hurt and conflicted. The spectators around us gasped in shock. Wasn't Alice supposed to be a simp for him? This doesn't match the rumors at all. Exactly. Looks more like Dominic's the one who can't take no for an answer. I looked at him coldly. Did you hear that? The public sees right through you. You're just another scumbag, so stop bothering me. With that, I shot him a sharp glare and turned to leave again. But Dominic clearly couldn't take a hint. He kept following behind, trying to explain himself. When he saw the coldness in my eyes, the words caught in his throat. I frowned and finally turned around, ready to confront him. But just then, a sweet child's voice rang out from behind. Mommy! I turned around in surprise. Olivia came flying into my arms like a happy little butterfly. Mommy! Olivia missed you so much. Laughing, I scooped her up and kissed her soft, fair cheek. Mommy missed you too, sweetheart. Dominic stared at us, mouth agape. Alice, is she? Before I could answer, a tall, handsome man stepped out of a car and walked toward us. Babe, I came to take you home. Dominic was stunned, completely frozen, as Ethan wrapped his arm around my waist. I gave Ethan a smile. Olivia told me she ate a big red apple today, and she hates apples. What trick did you use to get her to eat it? Take a wild guess. He pulled me into his arms and playfully flicked my nose. The crowd started buzzing again, even louder than before, and their voices seemed to snap Dominic out of his daze. He looked like he was about to cry and laugh at the same time. Alice, who are they? You're lying to me, right? I rolled my eyes at his pitiful expression. What? You think you're important enough for me to stage this whole show just to fool you? Then who's Olivia? Olivia suddenly asked in her sweet little voice. I turned to her with a smile. Olivia is Mommy's little sweetheart. And what about Daddy? Is he your sweetheart too? Yes. Daddy is also Mommy's sweetheart. Ethan's eyes sparkled. He leaned in and kissed my cheek. And Mommy is my sweetheart. Blushing, I nudged him away. Stop it, people are watching. He leaned in close and whispered in my ear. Then let's go home and not behave. My face flushed red instantly, holding Olivia tightly. I hurried toward our car, stammering, let's go now. Chapter 10. After 3 years of marriage to Ethan, I still blush and feel my heart race whenever he whispers sweet nothings to me. Ethan laughed happily, following us toward the car. Dominic just stood there, staring in despair. When he realized I was really leaving, he panicked and ran after me. Alice, don't go! I stopped and turned around. His eyes were filled with a sorrow so heavy it felt tangible. If this had been 7 years ago, I would have run straight into his arms the moment I saw him like that and told him I loved him. But this is 7 years later. Now, I felt absolutely nothing for him. His pain didn't stir a single ripple in me. In fact, the more he clung to me, the more disgusted I felt. I gently placed Olivia in her child's seat in the back. Then I leaned in and kissed her forehead. Sweetheart, stay here for a moment, okay? Olivia blinked her innocent big eyes, glanced at Dominic behind me, then nodded obediently. Only then did I turn back, walking to stand beside Ethan and interlacing my fingers with his. If you've got something to say, make it quick, say it all right here in front of my husband. Dominic's eyes were a storm of grief. He swallowed repeatedly, but not a single word came out. Ethan picked up my hand, playing with it casually, his smile subtle and mocking. Lost your voice now that I'm here? That's unfortunate, because I'm not leaving my wife alone with you. Dominic clenched his jaw, his jealousy burning in his eyes. What are you so smug about? Alice and I were together for 4 years, we were in sync in every way. You've only been in her life for what, 3 years? How can that compare to a bond we built since childhood? She's just momentarily blinded by you. Once she wakes up, she'll come back to me. Ethan met his gaze with a half smile but said nothing. My heart skipped a beat. I knew him well. He might look calm, but he was already getting jealous inside. The vinegar jar had tipped over. not wanting to lose sleep over this tonight. I quickly jumped in. Dominic, stop spewing nonsense in front of my husband. Being with you was the biggest stain on my life. My husband is irreplaceable in my heart, so do yourself a favor and get lost. Dominic stood there as the light in his eyes shattered. His voice came out hollow. Alice, am I really just a disgrace to you? I looked him in the eye and answered calmly. Yes. Dominic finally broke down. He staggered and collapsed to the ground. But I didn't stop there. I looked him straight in the eye and said, I've made myself clear today. You're worth nothing to me. Not then. Not now. If you have even a shred of dignity left, stay out of my life for good. Without another word. I turned around and walked back to the car, hand in hand with Ethan. As soon as the car door closed, he pulled me tightly into his arms, his fluffy hair brushing against my neck. Babe, you were amazing. I love you so much. I laughed and ruffled his hair. I love you and Olivia too. Ethan's roots are here in this country. He fell in love with me while studying abroad and moved back to build his career here. Now his parents are getting older, and since he's their only child, I couldn't bear the thought of them being alone year-round, so I decided to stay and grow our life here. Ethan fully supports my career. He knows I'm independent by nature. I hate rigid 9-to-5 schedules and despise relying on his connections. So he helped me prepare a full business plan for my own venture. I was incredibly touched. These days, aside from picking up and dropping off Olivia, I pour my energy into building my own business. Chapter 11. For a long time, my life had been peaceful and fulfilling, until our former university class rep organized a reunion and insisted I attend. I thought of how I'd been ostracized by everyone back then because of Dominic. Only the class rep had ever looked out for me. So, I agreed. I was driving to the address he sent when I was flagged down by some passersby after their car broke down with a flat tire. I always keep a toolbox in my trunk, so I pulled over. But just as I opened the door to get out, I saw Dominic, covered in grease, standing up and thanking them. When he saw me, his eyes lit up in surprise. But he hesitated, not daring to approach. I simply gave a neutral and set down the toolbox, intending to leave immediately. But he rushed over and blocked the front of my car, urgently saying, Alice, wait! Let me change the tire and drive you to the reunion. I don't feel safe letting you go alone. I gave a cold laugh. Of course. He was attending too. No need. But he didn't move. He just stood there, looking at me. I sighed and gestured for him to go change the tire. I wasn't leaving anymore. Only then did Dominic smile, like a child who just got a piece of candy. In the 4 years we were together, I'd never seen him smile like that. While he worked on the tire, he kept glancing at me. I leaned against the car door, staring into the distance, doing my best to ignore the tenderness in his gaze. I put the toolbox back in your trunk. Thanks, Alice, he said after a while. I gave another with no interest in making conversation. He shut the trunk, and I moved to get in the car. But again, he stepped forward, this time grabbing my wrist, not caring that his hands were still stained with oil. Let go! I yanked, but he wouldn't release me. Dominic looked straight at me, his voice low and intense. Alice, I need to talk to you. Please, just give me a little time. I knew he wouldn't let me go unless I agreed. Then let go first. His hand trembled slightly, but eventually he let go. Eyes downcast, I rubbed my wrist and walked to a large tree nearby. He followed, then spoke with a bitter look. Alice, I know you hate how arrogant I was, how I thought I had everything under control. His words actually caught my attention. I didn't respond, so he gave a self-deprecating smile. I realized too late. I was so stupid. I knew my father didn't like you. Yet I still let Fiona into my life. I thought I could handle it, that she wouldn't come between us. What are you trying to say? I cut him off, growing impatient. Dominic gave another bitter smile and looked straight at me. These past months, I investigated everything, the plagiarism scandal, the cuts on her arms, all of it. It was a setup. My father and Fiona planned the whole thing to manipulate me, to destroy our relationship so Fiona could take your place. I nodded. Got it. Anything else? Dominic froze, then 2 silent tears slid down his face. Alice, please forgive me. I was set up. I'm a victim too. Sure, It was a setup, but don't tell me you never had selfish motives. I looked up at him, unflinching, exposing the truth he didn't want to face. Even if Fiona was at fault, with your resources, you could have uncovered the truth. But you didn't, because deep down, you were already swayed by her. He opened his mouth to defend himself, but I raised my hand to cut him off. Don't bother. Whether you had feelings or not, you know the answer. Dominic lowered his head, voice trembling. Maybe I was distracted back then, but I swear, nothing ever happened between us. You were always the one I loved. Always. Since you left, I drove her away. I stayed clean. Stayed single. Alice, I love you. I love you so much. Please, just one more chance. Let me come back to you. I shook my head. It's too late. We were together for 4 years. You should know who I am. I don't tolerate emotional betrayal. I believe in absolute loyalty, body and soul. Ethan gives me that. You never will. You've lost your chance. Dominic, stop chasing me. You're only making yourself pathetic. Chapter 12. I got in the car and drove off. Dominic followed for a few steps, then collapsed to the ground. He let out a pained howl in the direction I had gone. I didn't go to the reunion that day. I just called the class rep to apologize and drove straight home. That night, I told Ethan about running into Dominic again. As soon as he heard it, his jealousy hit the ceiling. No matter how much I sweet-talked or coaxed him, he refused to smile. Instead, he tormented me the whole night. I didn't even manage to get out of bed until well past noon the next day. When I got up, I found Ethan still at home. He greeted me with a grin and asked me to join him for lunch. Internally, I was screaming. Jealous men are terrifying. Life returned to normal again, and Dominic never came back to bother me. Less than 2 months later, a friend forwarded me the news that Dominic's company had gone bankrupt. That's when I found out they'd been involved in money laundering. Everyone in the company was arrested. Half a year later, I found out I was pregnant. Ethan was so happy he cried on the spot, then started treating me like royalty. Watching him rush around the house while our sweet little Olivia played quietly nearby, I couldn't help but smile. Being loved like this is truly a wonderful life.